Okay, let's talk about intercepts in Unit 6, Lesson 1. So, x-intercepts. The x-intercept is where your graph crosses the x-axis. So, if you're given a graph, I'm just going to make this one up. So that ordered pair would be 2, 0, and what you'll notice is that the y value is 0, and it's always going to be 0 on the x-axis. The y-intercept is where your graph crosses the y-axis. So let's just make this one up. So that ordered pair would be 0, -3, and what you'll notice on the y-axis, the x value is always going to be 0. Okay, you really only need 2 points to graph your line. So if you know your intercepts, then we can graph a line, and that's what this lesson is all about. So for the x-intercepts, we know the rule. We are going to let y equals 0, and then we'll solve for x. The y-intercept, well, we know that x equals 0. We are going to solve for y. So then, once we graph the line using our intercepts, we're going to plot the 2 ordered pairs and connect the dots. All right, so let's look at our first example. They want us to find the x and y intercepts, and then they also want us to graph. It's a lot easier once you find your intercepts just to graph them, so we don't need to write this in slope-intercept form. So let's look at our x-intercept. We've got the equation x minus 2y equals 2. We are going to let y equals 0. So if we substitute 0, what that does is that eliminates the term with the y value in it. So if we simplify this, we're left with x equals 2. And that's our x-intercept, which is the ordered pair 2, 0. For our y-intercept, we're going to use the same original equation, and we are going to let x equals 0. So if we substitute 0, it eliminates the x term. Notice this is -2y equals 2. Those are being multiplied, so we're going to divide both sides by -2, which gives us y equals -1. So 0, -1 is our y-intercept. So now if we want to graph, we've got the ordered pair 2, 0, and we've got 0, -1, and use a straight edge to make your line. Super quick. All right, let's try another one just to make sure we have the idea. So for our x-intercept, we've got 4x minus y equals 4. Watch your signs. That's probably one of the only errors that you'll make. So if we let y equals 0, we're going to be left with 4x equals 4. Divide both sides by 4. So x equals 1. For our y-intercept, we've got 4x minus y equals 4. We are going to let x equal 0. So I get 0. That's like -1y equals 4. Divide both sides by -1. So y equals -4. So if I go over to x equals 1, go down to y equals -4, we've got 2 points, and we can sketch our line. Now, there are 2 special cases, so let's talk about those. So the special case is when there's only one of the letters. So we want to remember from the last section. So when I have x equals a number, we want to remember that that is a vertical line. So if I go over to x equals 4, okay, so what I notice is that for my x-intercept, we've got 4, 0. Because it crosses right here. For my y-intercept, a vertical line never crosses the y-axis, so you want to write none. let's say I forgot and I did this algebraically. If we have the equation x equals 4 and we let y equals 0 for our x-intercept, well, we don't have a y, so that might lead us to believe that we don't have an x-intercept, but we do. That's why this is a special case, so you want to remember that it's a vertical line. Let's go to our second special case, when we just have y equals a number. So remember, that gives us a horizontal line. We're going to go to y equals -1 and sketch that line. So for our x-intercept, well, we never cross the x-axis, which means we have none. For our y-intercept, we crossed right there, which is at 0, -1. So for the two special cases, you'll need to remember them and use the graph to get your intercepts.